Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to see what is a spef file, what is its syntax, what does it contain. So after watching this complete video, you will be able to read the spef file and understand what exactly spef file contains. So without any further ado, let's get started. So what is a spef file? A spef file contains the parasitic information of a design. What is parasitic information? Mainly the resistance and capacitance values. So a spef file contains the parasitic information of a design in an ASCII exchange format. So this is a file which user does not create manually. So this file is generated by some tool and it is mainly used to pass the parasitic information from one tool to another. So the SPEF is mainly generated by the PNR tool or the parasitic extraction tool. SPEF generated by parasitic extraction tool is more accurate. So then this SPEF is then passed to the timing analysis tool for the timing analysis or crosstalk analysis, and it can also be used in circuit simulation. So the SPEF is getting generated from the main DB and then it is getting used for timing analysis. Those RC values are being used for the calculation of delay so that timing analysis can be done. Now let's understand how to read a spef file. So this is a format of a spef file. It starts with header definition, then name map, power definition, external definition, defined definition, followed by internal definition. So we will understand what is all this one by one in upcoming slides. So the spef file starts with the header definition, and the header definition contains the basic information such as spef version number, design name, units for RLC. Now let's see one example of a header definition for better understanding. As you can see, this is one example of a header definition, and here this is the spef version. This is a design name. XYZ is one design name. This is the timestamp of when spef file was created. This is the vendor name that was used to generate the spef file, and this is the program of Cadence that was used to generate the spef file. Like the vendor is Cadence, but the the tool Quantus extraction from Cadence is used to generate the spef file. So that is the program that is used to generate the spef file. This is the version of the program. So in this case, version of Cadence Quantus extraction. This design flow specifies at what stage the spef file was created, and this tells us the information about the spef file which cannot be derived by reading the spef file. So for example, here routing confidence 100 means that this spef file was generated at the stage where routing confidence is 100. It means that the final cell placement was completed, final routing was also completed. So at that time this spef file was generated. And pin cap none means by pin cap it means that what type of pin capacitance is included as part of total capacitance calculation. So the valid values are none, input, output, or input only. So in this particular example, pin capacitance is not included as part of total capacitance calculation. Now this divider is the hierarchy delimiter. So any kind of logical hierarchy or physical hierarchy will be delimited by this particular delimiter. And this delimiter specifies the delimiter between an instance and its pin. This is the bus delimiter. It's this prefix and suffix are used to identify a bit of the bus. These are the units. So 1 ns is the unit for time, 1 femtofarad is the unit for capacitance. Similarly, 1 ohm is for resistance and 1 microhenry for inductance. So these are the units for parasitics. Now moving on to the next section of the spef file, which is name map. So in name map section, we map the net or instance names to unique integer values. Now why do we do that? Because if we want to use that particular instance or net in the spef file, we know that in reality the names of the instance name or net name can be really big, and if we want to use those names again and again, then the file size of the spef file can be very huge, right? So for that, we assign those particular names to any unique integer values, and whenever we want to use that particular net name or the instance name, instead of using its actual name, we use those integer values. So in this way, name map helps in reducing the file size by making all the future references of those net names or instance names by that particular index which we have assigned to it. So this is an example of the name map section. So as you can see here, this particular register is given the index 7. So whenever we want to use this particular register in the spef file, we will, instead of using this whole name, we will be using the number 7. So this is how we have assigned the index to these net names and instance names in the name map section, and we will be using these instead of their actual names in the spef file. Now the next section is a small section, the power definition section, which describes the power and ground nets which are used in the design. So here is an example. VDDQ is a power net and VSSQ is a ground net. Now the next section is the external definition section. The external definition section contains the definition of the logical and physical ports of the design, and it starts with this syntax, star ports, and this is its syntax: port name, direction and connection attribute. The direction can be input, output or bidirectional, and these are the connection attributes. If the connection attribute starts from star C, it means it is the coordinate of the port. Star L defines the capacitive load of the port, and star S defines the shape of the waveform on the port, and star D defines the driving cell of the port. So this is an example of the external definition section, and we can say that this particular X clock is an input port. Similarly, I off mode is an output port, and IPT div mode is a bidirectional port. So that's how it is defined. Now the next section is the defined definition section. It defines the instances that are referenced in the current spef but whose parasitics are described in another spef. So for example, let's say there is this design and whose hierarchy is this. So this particular design is referenced in your current design, but for example, let's say there's a macro. So if that particular macro is referenced in your current design, but its parasitics will be defined in another spef file. So similarly, for example, here this is referenced in your current design, but its parasitics will be defined in another spef file. Now comes the most important section of the spef file, which actually contains for the parasitics of the nets in the design. So let's try to understand this section properly. So there are many forms in which the parasitics of a net can be represented in a spef file. Those forms are DNet or NRNet. DNet is the distributed net and RNet stands for reduced net. But the most common is the DNet. So we will be discussing the DNet in this particular video. So this is how the parasitics of a net is represented in a spef. So it starts with star DNet, then comes the net index or the net name, then the total capacitance that is being seen on that net, then star V routing confidence. This star V is used to specify the accuracy of the parasitic of the net. It can like if you remember, we saw in the beginning there was something called design flow statement in which routing confidence value was also specified. So either it can be specified there. If it is not specified there, then for an individual net also it can be specified like using this star V and the routing confidence value. So just remember that was for the complete spef, for all the nets in the spef, that design flow was there, and this routing confidence is for the individual nets. So after this comes the connectivity section, then capacitance, resistance, inductance section, and then it ends. Let's try to understand this properly using an example. For example, you want to specify the DNet section, the parasitics for this particular circuit. So there are two flops, and this particular flop is being represented by this index. In the name maps, this particular flop will be represented by this 429 index. Similarly, the index for this flop is 430, and the index for this particular net is 320. And so if you can see, these are the nodes, these are the different nodes of this particular net, and the resistance between this particular node and this particular node is represented by this number 1. This is the first resistance value. Then the resistance between this particular node and this particular node is represented by this, and similarly like this. And there are 4 coupling capacitance in this design and 1 ground capacitance. So if you see the coupling capacitance is between 2 nodes, between 2 nets, right? So between this node and this 378 will be some another net. So between this node and this node, this is the capacitance. Between this node and this node, this is the capacitance, and this and this and this and this. So these are the coupling capacitance values, and this is a ground capacitance. Now let's see how we can write the DNet section for this small design. So this is the DNet section. So we are talking about this net first, 320 net we are talking about, and the total capacitance that is seen on this net is 0.183506 femtofarad. So this particular capacitance is the sum of all capacitance on this net, including cross coupling capacitance and ground capacitance, and pin capacitance will be added in this based on the pin cap value that we had seen in the design flow in the header section earlier. So we had seen that the pin cap value was none there, so it means pin cap value is not included in this. So the cross coupling and the ground capacitance is added in this. Now let's see this next section, which is connectivity section. Here star I represents the internal pin. So it says that the D pin is an internal pin of this 430 instance. The D pin is an internal pin of this 430 instance, and this I represents that it is a load input pin on that net. It is, this D pin is an input pin for this net, right? This is an input pin on that net, and C represents that the coordinates, C represents the coordinates of the pin. Then again the next line, which says that star I, it is an instance pin. Q is a pin of 429 instance. O denotes that it is an output pin on that net. It means it is the driver of the net. This is the output pin of this net, right? So it is the driver of the net. So, and here star C is again the coordinate of that particular pin, and star D defines the driving cell of that particular pin. Okay, here the driving cell is DFFQX1. Now the next section is the capacitance section, and as you can see in the capacitance section, the first 4 values are between 2 nodes, right? So that's why these are the coupling capacitance. These denotes the coupling capacitance, and the 5th value is just defined on 1 node. So that's why it is in ground capacitance. It denotes the ground capacitance. So let's try to understand this. See, the first capacitance is between this particular node, the node 100 of 320 net, and the node 2 of some 378 net. So how it is defined, that the first capacitance is between the 100 node of 320 net and the second node of 378 net, and this is the capacitance value. Similarly, the second capacitance is between this node and this node, and its value is this one, between this node and this node. So that's how the coupling capacitance is defined. Now come to the ground capacitance. So the ground capacitance is defined as that this particular capacitance is defined at the D pin of this 430 instance. It is defined at the D pin of this 430 instance, and its capacitance value is this one. Okay, so if it is defined with only one node, it means it's a ground capacitance. And if two nodes are there, if it is between two nodes, it means it's a coupling cap. Now the next section is the resistance section, and we can understand the resistance section in the similar way. So see, it says that the first resistance is between the Q pin of 429 instance. The first resistance is between the Q pin of 429 instance and the 100 node of 320 net. 100 node of 320 net, and this is the resistance value. Second is between the 100 node of 320 net and 99 node of 320 net, and this is the resistance value. Just remember that this is the same net, same 320 net. Its node is different. This after colon comes the node, and before colon comes the net or the instance name. Okay. So that's how we define the parasitics of a net using this DNet section. This is a complete DNet section. So that's all for the SPEF video, guys. And this book was used as the reference to make this video. So let me know your feedback in the comment section. Thanks for watching.